Continuing with attributes, what if we had information in another list, in another table, and we wanted to add that information to the GIS? One option would be to look at that list and type it all longhand here, and just like a spreadsheet, and just type it all up. But that would be a big disappointment since this stuff is already available somewhere. So is there a way to link an external table, spreadsheet, whatever, with information that's already in the GIS? And in most GIS packages, the answer is yes. So here we would say vector, data management tools, join attributes. So this would allow us to take information that we already have right here for the census divisions and link in another table as long as we have one field in common. So for example, in this case, we would use census division as the linking field. If you're working in housing, for example, the linking field will probably be the house number or house ID. If you're working on roads, it would be the road ID, and so on. So it all depends on the kind of work that you're doing, which might be your attribute that you join on. So the table that's going to be linked is census division, and we're going to link using a field called census division ID. So census division UID is the name of the field, and we can join a vector layer that we already have open right here. In this case, we actually want to open a DBF file, and this is an attribute table. And you can create DBase files from Excel, from Access, and from most GIS packages, etc. So I'm going to grab the field right here, and I'm going to take the DBase file that I know I want to use. So that is at the end right here, link cd.dbf. So I'm going to open this link cd.dbf, open it, and the join field, it will show me the different fields that I have in this particular table. So in this table I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 fields, and I'm going to use this one to join. So CD UID hopefully is identical to this CD UID. And this is the kind of thing that you have to go out there and make sure that you check properly. And then we go here and tell it that we want to put this in a particular location. So I'm going to call this linked, or whatever other name I want to give it. Save. And I have the option of keeping only the matching records. So that means that any instances where the two don't match, nothing will show. Or I can say keep all records. So even where I don't have a match, I will get everything. So even so that way I will show the blanks where things didn't quite work out the way I hoped. So that's a good way of finding out whether or not you have matches or non-matches. So it's a good way of testing the situation. And then it's a matter of saying OK. And of course, it's created that new table that we just named. So it says, do you want to add it? We'll say yep. So it looks just the same as the other one, doesn't it? So what it did is it took this table right here, copied all the attributes, and grabbed the attribute from the other file and added them on here. So if I press the information button right here, it will actually show me that there was a field there called percentage of the population that speaks an Aboriginal language, and there it shows right there. So that information came over, and that was borrowed from that second table. So by linking both together, it actually provided that information. So if I want to do a query specifically on that, I can work on this table right here, open the attribute table, I can go to the advanced search, and I can go to the Aboriginal language percentage now that we've added that field, and it shows up at the end here because that's the new fields that it just added. So it added CDOID 2 because there was already one called CDOID, so it puts the 2 to differentiate it. CD name 2 because there's already one with that name. Population 2006, population 2001, private dwellings, total number of people who speak an Aboriginal language, and the percentage. So in this case, I'm going to select here. And one of the neat things when you're doing queries like this is you can grab a sample and see what the data looks like by pressing the sample button. And that way you get to see some of the numbers that are within each of the fields, which makes life a little simpler. So what we're going to do here is double click on Aboriginal language to get that showing up down there, greater than, and let's say 4%. So more than 4% of the people are speaking that language. Now, considering that this is for the census division as a whole, which includes a huge number of people who are not Aboriginal in any form or way, 4% would be a big percentage that would speak the language. So it's not by reserve, it's by census division. So I'll say OK. And it's grabbed a whole bunch of instances where there are more than 4%. And sure enough, you see that those places where the percentage of the population where the First Nations people were the majority, it's also the places where an Aboriginal language is more likely to be spoken, the yellow areas, in other words. So, you can see that looking at the attributes tells you quite a bit about the information, and it's very straightforward to do these kinds of things. In this particular instance, it was nice that we were able to grab information from a separate table and link it, and it just became part of the data that we were working with here. Very straightforward, very simple.